How you doing, guys? So today I'm making another workout video, but today's is going to be a little bit different, a little bit special. All right, this workout is entirely using just bands, and it's also going to be done entirely while sitting. And I'm not necessarily going to make a workout for anybody to follow along with. I'm actually just going to demonstrate a bunch of exercises for various upper body muscle groups, and this is for anybody that isn't able to can't transport themselves to the gym and can't get a ride to the gym or anything like that, and you need to be able to get a good workout at home. And if you're in a wheelchair, you can still do this while in a wheelchair. You can use an office chair while sitting in a computer chair, or like me, I'm just going to be doing it in my lawn chair on my back porch. That way I'm getting some fresh air while I'm working out and getting out of the house a little bit. All right, so hope you guys enjoy and find something useful in this video that you can use at home and kind of program your own full upper body workouts in using just bands and still getting some good training in while at home. All right, you guys, so the first muscle group that I'm going to demonstrate a couple exercises for is chest. Okay, so anytime I'm using bands, as often as possible, I try to not do this right here. So say I was doing a push-up, as I'm doing a push-up or whatever, I have two strands of the band as my resistance, and that makes it for a very steep resistance curve or a strength curve. Okay, so anytime I'm using bands, I like to only have one strand of the band as my resistance. Okay, that gives us a much more consistent strength curve and resistance curve, right? So in this case, I'd throw it around the back of my office chair, the back of my wheelchair, or the back of this lawn chair right here, right? And once I had the band around the chair like this, I can set the band really low and kind of press up to kind of simulate an incline press. I can pull my hands in and press out to hit the low chest. I can pronate and press out, hit the upper chest a little bit. I can even adduct a little bit. So as I press, squeeze it together. So from right here, having the band wrapped around a chair or whatever, I can get a really good contraction of the chest, get good adduction in while also pressing, leaning forward. Now it's almost like an incline, right? Because I'm leaning forward, changing that angle, hitting the upper chest a little bit like an incline, leaning back a little bit, pressing out. And if I need more resistance, I can just grab lower, right? And now it's tough again, right? So all sorts of different ways to hit my chest just by sitting down, throwing the band around the back of the chair, and squeezing my chest in different positions like that. Okay, so that's pretty much all you really need for hitting chest. All right, so next I'm gonna show you guys how to hit the back. All right, different back muscles here. My favorite way to do this, my good foot at least. I'm gonna hook the band around my good foot. I can do a regular like horizontal row like this. I can lean back, kind of squeeze the upper back a little bit more. I can lean forward a lot and then grab lower onto the band, lean forward a lot, and almost, if you're really flexible, almost make it feel like a pull-up. All right, if we keep our elbows really tight to our sides, we get really good contraction of the lats. But you can also grab a lighter band and do the exact same thing, but let the elbows flare out. All right, so now when I let my elbows flare out like this, I can hit a lot of the rear delt. Okay, so I'm hitting my rear delt, maybe in my rhomboids a little bit, letting my elbows flare out. And I can also add in a little bit of external rotation into this and make this look like a face pull, make it feel like a face pull, and hit the rotator cuff muscle and stuff too, by grabbing it supinated and pulling it up like this for a face pull. Okay, so a bunch of different ways to hit our lats, rhomboids, rear delt, and even doing a face pull with the bands all while sitting. Okay. All right, the next thing I'm going to show you guys is different exercises you can use for your shoulders. Okay, so I already showed you like a face pull, kind of hitting the rear delt and the rotator cuff a little bit. So for this, I'm going to mainly focus on the side delt and the front delt. Okay, so I just have the band looped around my foot, my good foot here, holding it down, kind of like directly in front of me, not off to the right, but making sure that it's in front of my head and the center of my chest, right? What I can do, hold this part right here. I'm only grabbing a single strand. I'll grab it somewhere around down here, right? And I can do like a lateral raise with the band right here. Okay, same thing, grabbing at about the same position. I'm gonna grab under my bad leg here, grab about the same position here. And I can do the same thing, lateral raise out to this way. If I want to try to hit a little bit more rear delt, I just got to lean forward, okay? So when I lean forward, I can hit the rear delt a little bit, especially if I pronate my hand and internally rotate at the shoulder. I hit that rear delt a lot more. Externally rotate, hit a little more side delt and front delt. I can lean back. All right, there's all sorts of different angles that you can play around with to hit the different muscles of the shoulder. All right, if you want to do something for your front delt, grab a single strand. You can do a front raise right here.
Fucking whores! You fucking whores!
I'm grabbing a single strand in each hand. I can do a front raise right here, right? Or another thing that we can do, sitting on the edge of my seat here, I still have the band underneath that foot, and I can do an overhead press with the band like this, okay? So there's a couple different exercises for the front delt and tons of different ways to hit the side and rear delts, okay? Just with using bands, all while sitting down, all right? All right, next up is everybody's favorite. I'm sure some of you may have even skipped to this part of the video just for this, okay? This is arms, different ways to hit arms with your band, all right? So if I want to try to get a peak contraction of the bicep, I'm gonna hook this band around my foot. Again, make sure my foot is in front of midline, so like my head and my chest. I'm gonna grab a single strand in each hand, and as I lean forward here, have a little bit of raised, in that raised shoulder position allows me to get a very good contraction of the bicep, curling right here, but getting a really good contraction of the bicep. If you want a bigger stretch, of course, as you lean back, my arms are tighter to my sides and I'm getting a bigger stretch now. Another thing we can do to get a bigger stretch is if I sit on the edge of my seat here and I have my foot I bring my foot in a little bit, so that way the band is under me and not so much out in front of me now. Now, if I grab the band nice and low, I'm able to get a really big stretch in the biceps, stick my chest out, have the band nice and low. I'm getting a much better stretch, although there's not a lot of resistance in the stretch positions because we're using bands anyway, but you know, that's about the best you can really do with bands. And we can be supinated, pronated, however you want to grab the band, totally up to you depending on what muscles you want to hit, right? For triceps, one thing you can do, I'll just leave it around my foot here, we can kind of do a tricep kickback. So I'm gonna sit forward on my seat here, grab the band nice and low. The band is still around my foot, but I can kind of do a tricep kickback here, get a really tight peak contraction of the tricep. I can also do like a tricep push down. I do this sometimes. I'll double up the band and put it around the back of my neck, and you can almost do a tricep push down. Although again, there's like no resistance right here at the stretch position because the band's doubled up, and then down here it's a little bit tougher in that peak contracted spot. So maybe grab a heavier band and only use a single strand of it, try that. But you can do a push down like that. And then another thing we can do to get the tricep really stretched and lengthened is to position the band underneath our foot again and go overhead with it, right? So I'm leaning forward, I'm over my foot that's holding the band down for me, and then I can go overhead and do an overhead tricep extension like this, okay? Getting a much better stretch in the tricep and squeezing with the tricep overhead, all right? All right, you guys, so that's it for this video. We showed you exercises for chest, back, shoulders, and arms, okay? So this is for anybody that's disabled or recovering from an injury who's not able to transport themselves or get transportation to the gym. You're able to still get an effective workout at home using just bands. You can find really cheap bands on Amazon. And you know, some of the positions might be a little difficult to get a full range of motion in, like that tricep kickback. But you know, if you don't have arm rests on whatever you're sitting on, like if you're sitting on the couch or sitting on the floor or whatever, you'll be able to, you know, get a full range of motion with that tricep kickback. So there's tons of ways to kind of figure it out and be a little creative and still get really good workouts in while entirely sitting down and at home, all right? So hopefully you guys found something in this video useful and are able to still get good training in even while at home, all right? I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.